Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Brazos Stories with Hugh Stearns. I'm not Hugh, my name is Katie. Today we're going to be touring the Hurst Livestock Co. Let's head on over. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for sitting down with me. Why don't we go ahead and introduce y'all?
I'm Katie Faulkenberry, and that's it.
And I'm Taylor Hurst, and I'm from East Texas.
I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Awesome. Okay, so how did you get here to College Station?
Me personally, my dad went to A&M, so then I went to A&M, and then I never left.
I came to College Station mostly because my family, my grandfather was in the Corps here, and then I'm third generation Aggie, and then so I wound up here doing engineering, and then I kind of just stayed here for work.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so I know that you had mentioned earlier that you have your cattle farm that you've inherited from your family, but how did y'all get into chickens?
I'll let her kind of tell the story, but essentially, like I've had like small groups of chickens my whole life, so I've always seen different color eggs. Katie had never seen that before; she only thought they were like brown and white. But we went to a place in Central Texas where they had some chickens, and then she like got her first experience with some different colored eggs. And so I'll kind of tell you how. Well, she'll tell you how we kind of went down that rabbit hole.
Okay, so we went glamping for Valentine's Day in 2022. 2022, and I grew up in downtown Fort Lauderdale. Before I met him, I'd never seen a cow in person. Like, I'd never seen a chicken in person until we were at this place, and they had 4 silkies, 4 Easter eggers, and 2 Aracanas, I think it was. They had like 10 chickens total.
Okay.
And we were the only people staying because it's camping in February. So it was cold. And they were like, if you guys want to go, you can take the eggs in the morning. So we went in the morning, and there was green and blue, and it was crazy. And we had been looking for land in Caldwell, and we had put an offer on like 11 acres, and I was like, I can get 4 chickens and I'll never have to buy eggs again. So for my 26th birthday, my parents got me a chicken coop for 8 chickens, and I got 4 chickens. And I used to work at a bar on Northgate, and they were like, Katie, if you like get a couple more chickens and you have extra eggs, then we'll buy eggs from you.
I love that.
So then I had 23 on order to come in that following April. But then at Thanksgiving, his aunt was like, you might as well just get some now. So then I ordered 35 to come that week. So then we had 35 the second week of December, 25 in April. And then I really enjoyed it. So then I got 75, 75, 150.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so how many chickens do you have now?
I counted them out of their little homes yesterday. We have about 395 egg layers. Whenever we get roosters, the dogs enjoy a snack. We don't keep roosters around. They're very loud. But egg layers, we have about 400, and then meat chickens, we have 207.
Okay, awesome. And then you said that you have how many cows here?
15.
15. Okay.
15.
Awesome. What's kind of been your favorite moment so far?
I'll let you do favorite moment first.
Okay, so I guess my favorite moment since we've moved out here. So one of my favorite moments was us moving out here and being out here full time and actually getting to stay out here and not have to commute like 20, 30 minutes every day to check on the animals. But besides that, it's honestly going to be when we rotate cattle, because I've been around cattle my whole life, and there's a couple of them that actually are friendly enough to let you walk up and you'll pet them, and then they'll just follow you to the next little area. So that's probably my favorite part out here, is just moving the cattle from the new paddocks into the newer ones. So.
Awesome.
It's so tough to pick a favorite. Honestly, I guess, and it's kind of overarching, my favorite part is being able to grow our own food. I was a vegetarian for 10 years, and right before I met him, I started eating meat again. And the first time we did the meat chickens, we did 16 just to see if I could stomach doing it, which I can't. I'm not the one that I cried. But I can do the plucking and the innards. I just can't do, what's the political term for it? Dispatching. I can't,
Okay.
I can't do that. But I definitely, my favorite is like all the beef that we have is from our property. All the chicken that we have is from our property. And I just think that's really cool.
So how has that been, kind of transitioning back to a meat eating diet on your own supply?
Definitely. It's funny because having a taste comparison is really crazy. I was never the person, like my dad was like Costco blister packs. I'm going to the Doris market because chicken breast is 69 cents a pound and we're going to buy 30 pounds of it. And this is what we're going to have for the next couple months. And it was never more about like ethically raising it. And I guess the biggest part about us raising it ourselves, transitioning from vegetarian, I was already eating meat for 3.5 years when we started doing this, but it is, you really can taste the difference.
That you're allergic to the red dye.
Yeah, I can't. It's dye 40.
Red meat.
So meat from the grocery stores, like ground beef, has red 40 in it to give it a color.
Really?
Yeah, because it's been they sell it thawed, and when it thaws, the color drains from it because it's mostly just it's blood.
Yeah.
But when they thaw it and put those packs at the bottom, that soaks up all the natural color, so it's red. There's red 40 in it to keep it red.
You know, that's so interesting. I doubt really anybody
Yeah.
knows that. Everyone probably thinks that it's blood.
Yeah.
And they're being exposed to red 40, which we know is
Bad.
very bad for us.
I completely forgot about that. Yeah, when I started eating meat and I just felt terrible all the time. And I thought it was just because I couldn't process the proteins in the meat anymore, but it was all of the artificial additives to keep things preserved longer.
Wow.
That I got a blood pathogen test done,
Right.
and like all of our stuff completely fine, but things from the grocery store, which I mean, it just sounds so crazy to say out loud that I'm allergic to the grocery store things, but it's like I would be able to buy like the nicer pasture and the grass-fed stuff because they don't do any of the additives, but just the standard packs, it's got red 40 in it.
Yeah, and I mean that we're seeing that kind of across the entire grocery store. I mean, from the produce that's now being genetically modified to not actually ripen on its own, so it doesn't actually rot. So you have these styrofoam apples to, you know, the meat and the bread. Like, it's just crazy what they're putting into food nowadays.
It's the things are supposed to mold and they don't. Shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, no, not at all. So it's really awesome what you guys are doing here. And then you said that you let people come out to the farm to pick their own eggs. Anybody
that wants to come out, there's a section on our website that says visit the farm. I was able to make this my full-time job. I'm here every single day at some point. All it requires is 24 hours in advance.
Awesome. Well, guys, make sure that you book your time to come out to the farm and pick your own eggs. Okay, we've taken a super long walk over to your facility. So why don't you kind of walk us through what your daily process looks like? How does it start in the morning?
Okay, so best way to describe it is a rooster goes off, and then one of our 3 lovely Great Danes hears the rooster and then lets me know they need to go to the bathroom, usually somewhere around 6:45. We're up at 7 no matter what, but usually the dogs will get me right before then. And then all of those doors get open, this door gets open, everybody runs.
So what happens once you've gotten them all out? Do you have to clean every single day, or is it kind of a once a week thing? Or
some things I clean like schedule wise. I do one of those, like I do a coop and completely take everything out of it once a week, but I do 1 coop a week, so it's about a month of turnaround time. If it's like gets kind of gross in there, it's called the deep bedding method, so I'll lay more pine shavings on the top. You can explain what that does better than me.
Yeah, so pretty much the deep bedding method, it's a pretty common method used to where what you're doing is you're taking organic matter, putting it over, which is the fresh pine shavings, and that helps begin the composting process. Okay. And so not only does it start a composting process, but it also eliminates all the odors. So as long as it hasn't rained, and so that's another thing is like if we get those really bad storms come in, like no matter what, the next day we're out here and everything gets changed out, because if they get soaked and saturated, then that inhibits that process from starting.
Right.
And so as long as it stays dry and it's just manure, and then on top of that is your pine shavings, then you can start that process.
I gotcha. So it's really not that bad. I thought you were gonna have to clean it like every day,
No.
every other day.
Some things I clean every day. Like I typically take 20 minutes to sweep every day. Nothing wild. We have a couple of scrapers. I'll scrape like surfaces with whenever we go into them, the nesting boxes. Sometimes they sleep in them. When they sleep in them, you've got to we have pallets over here to hose them out so they can air dry and everything.
Okay.
But when we went into it, we didn't expect to have this many. So we had the mentality of being able to automate things for us to be gone for a long weekend. It's more difficult to do that now. We don't have it automated that way yet with all of them. But mostly we do. Water's plumb from the well to every single one of their houses.
Oh, nice.
So
They
we
get fresh well water that stays cool too. They're not like deep dishes, so the water actually can stay cool, especially during the hotter time of the summer.
Oh, that's
which
awesome.
is going to be an important thing for chickens because they actually don't sweat, and so they pant like a dog does.
Huh.
And so if you have hot water that the chickens are drinking, all they're going to do is get hotter, and they're not going to actually cool their body down.
Wow.
So that can actually induce heat stroke. And so if you keep cool, fresh water in there, which is what we try to do to all the houses, and you'll see we still have extra water out for them that we fill up every day.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not cool water, then it's not really helping the chicken much. It's keeping them hydrated, but it's not cooling them down.
So what other things about chickens, like what other limitations do they have in their...
Crazy things that we've learned along the way. The heat stroke was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the chickens are better suited for the northern climates, so they're awesome in the winter and they're horrible in the summer here because it can get to be 115. So we have we run fans consistently. We have solar fans on there to keep air moving. I don't know what else is a quirky chicken thing.
It varies from breed to breed, which is kind of interesting and crazy because most people think a chicken is just a chicken.
Right.
But it got really complicated when we got so many different kinds.
I bet.
And at the beginning, another thing, and I guess it's kind of overarching, you learn along the way what to feed them. If they don't have enough calcium, they won't lay. They'll lay soft shells. They'll compact their food. If you don't check inside of the cups, you don't know that they're not eating. They'll stop laying eggs. You need to make sure that they have the right diet to be laying comfortably. So a lot of the times, we get a comprehensive 17% layer feed, but 17% is the protein. 17% is low if you're wanting production. So we actually take eggs and give them back. So they'll eat the eggshells for the protein, or the eggshells for the calcium, and the yolk is a really good source of protein.
Right.
We incorporate that with the meat chickens, and these guys get about 2 dozen a day. We just smack.
2 dozen eggs a day.
Yeah, I mean we collect 250 eggs every single day, but the way that I see it, I can go and get a grain-based, a nicer grain-based scratch will cost me more than just giving them back their eggs and protein. So
what is the soft shell egg? Is it like a snake egg?
Might be really kind of similar.
You can squish
weird, it. It's also semi-translucent.
Oh, okay.
And so when you squeeze it, it's like a snake egg probably, but I would say it just looks like a little chicken egg that you can actually kind of see through with a light. If you put a light through it, you can see completely through it.
Wow, that's crazy.
It happens later in the laying process. Usually it's early chickens and late in lay chickens, 4-year-olds and 7-month-olds. If they don't have the calcium absorbing, when chickens are born with every single yolk that they have, they don't produce more. They're born with about 500,000. Obviously, they're not going to lay that many. But it's already inside of their system, and when it drops through their system, the coating is the last, and if there's not enough calcium, it comes out without the coating.
Okay, I see. That's so interesting. It's kind of like humans.
Yeah.
So do they all sleep in these sheds, or?
So there's 5 of them out here. We actually have 5. These 4 out here are the ones that we have just out here for all the laying hens, and then our original 40. But since then, more have migrated over there because they are open free range. We don't dictate where they sleep at night.
Oh,
they
okay.
can choose where. We have another 12 by 12 coop right here.
Okay.
And so what we do is we just let them. They get to choose where they go to sleep, but they have 5 choices. We do make sure they're put up at night just for predator reasons, and they're all built up off the ground to help keep them safe.
Right.
But they get all of the land here, so it's about 30 acres to run around. and then at night they'll come and pick whichever shed they want to go.
So do you have any chickens that like sleeping like outside, or like they want to sleep in the trees?
Sadly, yes.
Yeah.
And so it's always fun at night around 10 o'clock trying to find them all.
Yeah.
So we'll have, there's a couple of them that like to stay in the trees. There's a few of them that like to just stay in the shed on the ground. So, yeah, it usually can get about 30 minutes to put them all away if we have those.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're a lot better.
Sometimes they're a lot better.
We like to make sure that they're away because things really like to eat chickens.
Yeah, what kind of predators do y'all have out here?
Weasel is our number one nemesis out here for us personally. I know that our neighbor said that he's had foxes. He's had a bad problem with hawks. I haven't. Like, we've had maybe 4 probably taken by hawks, and it's illegal to kill them. You have to make it a nuisance for them to want to get your birds. So we're lucky with all of the coverage that we have here. A lot of the chickens chill out under there during the day. But when we were having the hawk problem with our 3 large dogs, I parked the truck right there and just sat there all day long.
Yeah.
And then it stopped coming after about 4 days because there's easier targets for it. You know? So that was lucky. But a weasel came and took 16 in one night.
What is a weasel? Is that like a ferret? It looks like a
ferret, yeah.
Is it as the same size?
Yes.
Think of it as a wild
small and vicious?
Yeah.
Wow.
But our big thing is weasels, and the most disappointing thing for me about weasels is I understand like natural selection, things have to eat. When a hawk comes, it's annoying, but I understand because the hawk takes the animal.
Right.
Weasels just kill them and pile them up and leave them.
Oh, really?
That they drink the blood, and then that's all that they do.
Ooh.
So as like I can respect a fox coming and getting like 1 or 2, or we haven't had a fox problem. We haven't had a raccoon problem or possum or skunks, and those are all things that are out here. We just take a lot of measures to make sure that those don't get them.
Right.
But weasels can get into pretty much anything, and they will wipe out everything that you have in one night and then go on their way.
Do they drink blood? Is that their source of food?
Yeah, that's what they do with chickens, at least.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yuck. And so when I started, it obviously was not going to be to what it is right now. But Queen Elizabeth was one of the first 30. The first 4 that I got were Americana Easter eggers just because I wanted blue eggs. And then I got her, she was $45 as a chick. And we named the first like 20 of them. But this was supposed to be the Buckingham Palace, and this is Queen Elizabeth. So she's my girl. As horrible as it is to say, because I obviously care about all the chickens, but there's a handful that like if they went missing, I would cry.
Right.
And yeah, if eggs went missing, I definitely would notice.
So kind of tell us what's your plans for the future? Where are you going from here?
It started as a hobby and really has become like more of a passion. Running a bar for so many years, I know the price points that restaurants are paying for different kinds of like products, and I really try as best as I can without shorting myself at the end of the day with all the time that I put into everything.
Right.
Getting a reasonable price point so more people can experience the nicer quality food when it's not like astronomically priced. That really is the driver for me. So future-wise, right over in that tall grass over there, is our barn is going to be the same size as our house. We're going to have a 10 by 10 walk-in freezer and a 10 by 10 refrigerator. But I really want to make our barn disability accessible because I want to do field trips out here with schools and they do the chicken and the egg, what came first when they're in 2nd grade. And then they do touch a little bit of nutrition in 7th grade. And it's not super difficult to make things disability accessible, but I will have to add some sort of concrete pathways. And then the barn's already going to have bathrooms, but we're going to have to make it larger. There's 44 acres for sale that touches the back corner of our property, which if I can prove to the USDA that I have plans not only for teaching, but for meat production, that I should be able to get some grant work as a lady. Taylor and I are not married. Yeah, we're engaged. But if I can apply for these and win them before we're married, then I'll have a much easier shot at getting them.
Right.
Which driver, I love teaching people, and I have amassed a great amount of knowledge on chickens, which I mean obviously isn't super valuable to so many people, but I just feel like as a society we're so out of touch with where our food comes from.
Absolutely.
That even like knowing where it could come from is just a big thing for me. So I guess future would be like barn, better storage for bulk, restaurants. I want to do some field trips, and then we're doing pumpkin patches and Easter egg hunt next year.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I think you had talked a little bit about you have the byproduct of the pasta.
Yeah.
What kind of goes into that?
So some of it I use just straight milled. Like my big thing is you can read the ingredients and you know what it is. It's flour, eggs, and water, and then whatever vegetable I put in is the color. So with the spinach, I just buy spinach leaves, dehydrate them for 24 hours, put them in the food processor that I use for powdering eggs, and I have milled flour just out of curiosity. But then it comes out as a really fine powder. The powder mixes with the flour and the processor, and then egg, and we parboil it to cook the egg out, and then stick that in a dehydrator. That was more out of a necessity first. I love making pasta.
That's awesome. So what flavors do you have going on?
Spinach, beet, regular, and carrot is what's.
Can you actually taste the
You
vegetable?
can taste the spinach and the beet. The carrot's pretty neutral, but like when you get the medley vegetable set from HEB or wherever, the one that you think is plain is carrot.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so are you gonna do a medley? Or are you
I do. Yeah, the garden variety. It's got I do a rosemary and carrot, just because rosemary gives it it's orange. Rosemary gives it an orange color. Tomato, spinach, beet. I think that's it. I think that's all that goes into the garden.
Super yummy.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So tell us what events do you have coming up next?
Every Saturday, the farmers market. We actually have it's a little dinky store. It's not done. I'm wallpapering it this weekend. So it'll be done in a couple of weeks, just so if people need something during the week, they can come out here. We recently partnered with Milliken Reserve, if you're familiar.
Yeah.
So they have a ranch, or they have a farm up there. They do all the vegetables, and we're going to be supplying some of the meat products, the eggs, pastas, my dogs, the pastas, the pancake mix. We dehydrate eggs and just add water pancake mix.
Yeah.
So we'll be out there. They open in September. He's revamping with just a couple of select farmers from Brazos County only. And then I guess November is kind of far away, but we're doing a Christmas market at the church on Northgate.
Very fun. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. Well, perfect. Thank you so much for talking with me. Katie.
Nice. Thanks for coming out, seeing everything.
Yeah, of course.
Me for an hour.
Oh, he's been so sweet. And honestly, your chickens are really very tame.
Docile.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very hands-on from the start. Keeps chickens extremely nice. And I think most people have mean chickens because they're cooped up.
Right.
To be honest.
Right. They don't get out. They don't get to. Same as like a kid that you don't let it out and
they get mad
get
at
the
you.
energy off.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining Brazos Story with Hugh Stearns.
Thanks
and
for having us.
We'll make sure that we, spread the word for you.
Beautiful. Thank you.